always, Carl with Targets with Attitude. And welcome back to one of my video rambles. Today, though, I'm not actually going to be talking about knives. Instead, I'm going to ramble on a bit about House Bill 5087, called the Assault Weapons Ban Bill, that was recently introduced. Quite frankly, I'm concerned. It's okay. I will reluctantly admit that with all the mass shootings, we need to do something that may include banning the so-called assault rifles, or at least putting some restrictions on them. But this bill, it's just too broad and too general. For one thing, it is going to restrict the importation, manufacture, possession, sale, or transfer of anything considered an assault weapon in this bill, which includes all semi-automatic rifles and semi-automatic pistols. Okay, people, let's take a look at this, shall we? This is a Colt 1911. Well, actually, this one is a Rock Island 1911. It has a detachable magazine, which, according to this bill, makes it an assault weapon. 1911 is a semi-automatic pistol. It is called the 1911 because it was introduced and adopted by the Army in 1911, and it remained the standard issue sidearm all the way up to 1986. So we're suddenly going to ban something that was designed in 1911 because it has a detachable magazine, which, by the way, carries 7 rounds. Okay. It makes no sense to me. Next gun. This is a Smith & Wesson N&P Shield. Again, semi-automatic detachable magazine, which means under this bill it's an assault weapon. It's fairly small. The magazine holds 8 rounds. This is a very popular backup pistol for many police departments. It's not the standard issue. They'll either go with a Glock 19 or a Smith & Wesson full-size N&P, both of which carry 15 to 17 rounds in the magazine. But, again, according to the bill, this is an assault weapon and is therefore banned. I love this for a backup piece. I mean, it is just, it's small, it's accurate, it's just heavy enough to control the recoil, which means I can get back on target very quickly. It's comfortable carry. I just love it, but according to the bill, this is an assault weapon. Next pistol I'm going to look at. This was second pistol I ever bought, and it's still my favorite. It's a Ruger SR9. Again, detachable box magazine. Therefore, under this bill, it's an assault weapon. It holds 17 rounds. This is a standard magazine. As you can see, the magazine is flush. You cannot buy a magazine for this gun that holds less than 17 rounds. They do not make it. But people keep saying that it is a high capacity magazine. This thing has a 4.5-inch barrel. It fits my hand like it was made for it. It's the most accurate gun I own, even more accurate than the 1911. It is just so comfortable, so beautiful. This is my favorite gun. But under this bill, it's an assault gun. I'd have to get rid of it. I'd have to give it up. But I couldn't sell it. I couldn't transport it or anything to some other location. It'd be illegal, but I couldn't get rid of it. Makes no sense. Next weapon. This is one of my wife's favorite guns. This is a Walther PK, also semi-automatic. Also has a detachable box magazine. Therefore, under the terms of this bill, this also is an assault weapon. It is just such a beautiful little gun. It's smooth. It fires either single action or double action. It's made in Germany. It's not even American made, but it is a fantastic weapon. With this gun, I can shoot accurately. More importantly, since it's my wife's gun, she can shoot accurately up to 20 yards. The magazine holds 8 rounds. But it's a detachable magazine, and it's a semi-automatic, therefore assault weapon. How is this an assault weapon? I don't understand. Last gun I will look at. This is from my personal collection again. This one is not a semi-automatic. This one is a revolver. To be specifically, this is a Smith & Wesson Victory model. 38 in caliber revolver. It was made by Smith & Wesson during World War II, specifically for sale to the U.S. government so that they could operate and give these guns to the British military on a Lend-Lease program. It's just, what can I say? It is still in fantastic condition. Just a joy to shoot. Still has lanyard clip here. Original grips. And even though it was made, according to the serial number, this was made in 1945 or late 1944. Say, it's perfect. Now, here's my problem. Of all the handguns I just showed you, this one is the only one in my collection that I showed you that was specifically made for the military. It's a military weapon. And it's a revolver. Even the 1911 I showed you. Where did I put? Yeah. Okay. The original was made for the military. This one was not. This was built and designed and sold for civilian use. This is the only one that's all military use. So this should be the only one that could be considered an assault pistol or assault weapon. But under the terms of this bill, this is the only one that's going to remain legal. It just blows my mind. I'm sorry, it does. As I said at the beginning, I can reluctantly accept that we have reached the point where we have to do something. Too many of our children are dying. And that means that as reluctant as I am to do it, I am willing to at least discuss banning assault rifles, assault weapons. But what is an assault rifle? According to the U.S. military, an assault rifle must be a select fire weapon. None of what I just showed you today is select fire. It's all single fire. Pull the trigger once, it shoots one bullet. Now, if you can pull the trigger 30 times a minute, it'll shoot 30 bullets in a minute. Assuming, of course, you've got 30 bullets in the magazine. But not everyone can pull the trigger 30 times a minute. 100 times a minute, forget it. I don't care what the media says. It ain't going to happen. No one I know of can pull the trigger 100 times in 1 minute. It's ridiculous. So, according to the U.S. military, there are no assault weapons or assault rifles in civilian hands unless they've got a special permit from the ATF and the IRS in the form of what's called a tax stamp, allowing them to own it. You know what? It takes 3 to 6 months to get that. And you have to get one for every weapon you have if it meets the criteria for select fire. Second thing that they must have a detachable box magazine. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Third thing, it must be carbine length. That means a barrel that is no more than 16 inches in length. Why? Because if you've got a barrel longer than 16 inches in length, it's almost impossible to go through an urban environment. You're hitting the barrel up against the walls if you're trying to go through an apartment building to clear the apartment building room by room if you're looking for rebels or insurgents in Iraq or Iran. So, okay, make it illegal to make ARs with 16-inch barrels. Insist that they have to have either an 18 or 21-inch barrel. 21-inch barrel, oh, man, that, I've got, well, I don't, but one of my friends has an AR with a 21-inch barrel, and that thing is the best hunting rifle I've ever seen. 21-inch barrel means that it is so accurate, it's scary. He keeps a 10-round magazine in it for hunting purposes. Back to the box magazine. Okay, fine. Much as it pains me, I have to admit that there is no defendable reason why a civilian, such as myself, should need a 50-round or 100-round magazine. 30-round comes standard with a lot of these rifles. Fine. Insist the manufacturers start only supplying 15-round magazines or 10-round magazines. 15-round magazine is reasonable. I'm going to be unhappy with that. Very unhappy. But in the interest of seeing our kids live, it's a compromise I'm willing to at least consider, okay? But banning 15-round magazines, banning them all together, that's just, it's taking it too far, people. Okay. And the last requirement is that it must, according to the U.S. military, to be an assault rifle, it must shoot an intermediate powered cartridge. Meaning that the power of the bullet is somewhere between that of the average pistol and that of your average hunting rifle, which is the 5.56 NATO or 223. I hate to tell you this, but the 223 was not designed and introduced to kill humans. Yes, it was adapted by the military. Yes, they renamed it the 5.56 NATO and increased the power slightly. Yes, it is a great bullet for killing humans. But that's not what it was designed for. It was designed and introduced as a varmint cartridge to be used in something like the Ruger Mini 14 ranch rifle. A small, easily used, easily transported rifle that you could carry around with you on your ranch to shoot varmints with if you needed to. And believe me, if you're a rancher or a farmer, you don't want coyotes anywhere near your livestock. 223 is the best, perfect round for killing coyotes. That's what it was introduced for. That's why the Mini 14 was introduced back in the 60s and early 70s. Long before ARs became popular. There are plenty of other hunting rifles built around the 223. Let's not blame the cartridge. It is too handy, too useful for other things. So yes, okay, I hear you. I understand. We've got to do something. But think, people. Understand what it is you're trying to get rid of. Getting rid of my Ruger SR9 because you're scared that an assault rifle is going to shoot your kids at school is illogical. This is not the problem. But this bill, Bill 5087, would ban this. It would ban this. And it would ban this. I'm sorry. It makes no sense to me. Bring me a bill that makes sense. A bill that doesn't go overboard. And I'll talk to you about it. We may not agree. I may drag my heels the whole way. But at least I'll talk to you about it. Banning this isn't going to get us anywhere. So, anyway, I hope I've given you something to think about. And something to talk to your friends about. I realize most of my subscribers are going to agree with me already. But hopefully this will get out to a few people who don't really know or understand where we're coming from. And if it gives them reason to think, if it makes them understand why we're so upset about this bill, then I'll have done some good. But in the meantime, I'll wish you luck. This has gone way too long. You take care. And next week we'll be back to knives again. I promise. In the meantime, as always, remember, if you're going to do something, no matter how small a thing it is, do it with attitude. See ya.